Welcome to Mpumalanga province. I know that the Premier is still going to welcome you, but on behalf of the government of South Africa, and on behalf of the Ministry of Health, on behalf of the Parliament of South Africa, I know that besides members of the members of Parliament, and also members of the legislature, also the mayor, also the district mayor, Honorable Mgomezulu, is still also going to greet you at a later stage. But it gives me a great pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome you to this very important function, what we believe will be a game changer in the intervention and possible eradication of HIV and AIDS as public health threats. As you know, under the UN, we've all undertaken to commit to the eradication of HIV and AIDS as public health threats by 2030. I'm sure you'll agree that what we are here about today, which I'm not going to go into a lot of details, as I'm not a speaker, but just the program director for this function, together with my co-program director, milestone. Milestone Nkosi is here with us. Welcome to our dignitaries, speakers. Ours is really just to drive the program, so we're going to do our best to really facilitate. We know that it's not a very kind weather today, so we'll try to keep you warm. Looks like you are all ready for the music to keep warm, but we'll try by all means to make sure that we drive the program. So we're going to start with the national anthem. Can we get the Bethel choir? Honorable Mayor, is the Bethel choir, not so? Yes. Bethel Hospital choir. Okay, they say I must be very specific. It's not just a Bethel choir, it's a Bethel Hospital choir. Can we have indication? Let me see, where is the choir? Oh, are they already? Oh, okay. Okay, can the choir please ascend the stage so that you can be able to help us to start the function. Oh, okay, there's the stage where you'll be performing. Please, choir, let's move quickly. You can, okay, either way, you can even come here. You're not many, you can do it from here. But we don't see, where are the technical people? We don't have the mics for the choir, but I'm sure you'll have a strong enough voices with your conductor to start the program. Let's make it quicker. It's okay, it's okay. Let's get it, let's come through. I'm informed that we're supposed to use the other stage, but it's not a train match. Can move closer so that we can be able to start. Okay, choir conductor, please. Let's get going. To use this. Okay. Can we all rise for the national anthem, please?
We can just, okay. Yeah, we can just put it down here.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we can just.
very much. Thank you very much. I'm sure you will agree with me that this was a wonderful rendition of our national anthem. Will we give them a round of applause again? Thank you very much. So it's a good indication, MEC, that there is life at Betal Hospital. Because if the staff of the hospital can sing so well, I'm sure they treated the patients with a smile. So thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to call upon our host, the Premier of the province of the Rising Sun. For those who don't know what Mpumalanga is the province of the Rising Sun. So these are the people who see the sun the first in the country. Before anybody else can see the sun, these are the people who see the sun first. So Premier Mandla, he is the head of this province of the Rising Sun. He's going to give us the welcome. Thank you very much.
Program directors, our Honorable Deputy Minister of Health, Dr. Pasla, and Mpumalanga co-chairperson of MPEC, Ms. Nkosi. The President is coming. No. He committed that he will be with me today. I was supposed to be with him last week in Kruger National Park. He has been here in the province since January. At the end of January, he was here. When we were hit by conflagration, he came back to address his own political party, and also he came back again to be with us here in the province. He's ever busy. One day I told him that I don't want to be like him. I don't want to wear his shoes. And he told me that he also doesn't want to wear his own shoes. Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Mtswale, the MEC of Health here in Mpumalanga, MEC Manzini, and all MECs of Health that are here, and other MECs, the Acting Director General of the National Department of Health, Prof. Chris, and Mpumalanga Director General, Ms. Kosana, HODs and senior managers, our district mayor of Gersibande, Councillor Mgemezile, and all mayors and councillors present, our royal leadership, led by Chairperson of Mpumalanga House of Traditional and Khoisan leaders, who also the President of Contralesa. I don't see the President of Kosato. They told me that she's going to be here, Ms. Losi, representative of SANEC Private Sector Forum, Ms. Zigalala, Chairperson of SANEC Civil Society Forum, Mr. Luku, representative from our global and development partners, CEO of G-League Science, Mr. O'Day, and Executive Director of Children's Investment Fund Foundation, Mr. Kempley, Executive Director of Global Fund, Mr. Sands, UniAid's Regional Director, Ms. Jituku Shongwe, Executive Director of UniAid, Dr. Danton, Country Director of the World Health Organization, Ms. A. Halabi, distinguished guest members of the Diplomatic Corps, leaders of business, labor and civil society, our frontline healthcare workers, community leaders, most importantly, the resilient people of Mpumalanga, Sanbonan. It is with deep humility that I welcome you all to Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun, as today is not just another lodge, it is a celebration and a revolution. It is a moment in history where science meets hope, where policy meets people, and where South Africa once again rises to say, we'll fight against HIV, will not give up, and we shall never surrender. This national launch of Lenacapavir represents a turning point, not only for people living with HIV, but a breakthrough for all South Africans. We must all agree that from today we'll start taking Lenacapavir to zeroize new infection while protecting ourselves and the ones that we love. To us here in Mpumalanga, a province with the highest HIV prevalence, sitting at 17.4%. This innovation not only brings us hope, but brings us closer to our vision as a nation, an HIV-free generation. Lomjovo, uthatha kayi-2 phela ngonyaka. Emva kwezinyanga eziyi-6, usinikeza ama-option amaningi wokuvikeleka. Futhi i-research isibonisa ukuthi lo mjovo usebenza cishe ngama-percent ayi-90%, just between 96% and 100% ukuvikela i-HIV. Lo mjovo ubonisa ukuthi i-government yethu, government of South Africa, ukuthi iyasebenza. Isebenza ukuthi yenza sure ukuthi we don't have new infection. As government, we are working very hard. We want to thank the government of South Africa for working so hard. Dala slupheka manje solution sinayo. Noma singafiki la sifuna kuba khona, but at least we are trying our best. If Lenacapavir is to reach its full potential, we must act decisively. Our intervention in Mpumalanga is clear. We must intensify our awareness campaign to educate our people about Lenacapavir. We call upon everyone, the media and the private sector, our communities, churches, schools, and traditional authorities to help us preach the gospel of Lenacapavir. We'll strengthen mobile clinics and community outreach programs. We'll expand the role of community health workers as ambassadors of prevention. We will ensure integration of services at clinic. Siqashe abodokodela sabafaka kuma clinic asemakhaya, so that no one travel far for one service when many can be delivered closer to home. Thina la eMpumalanga sibilivela ukuthi ukuthola nokunakekelwa kwezimpilo kufuneka sikuthola kalula. Program directors, our residence as a province is not accidental. Through the oversight of the Mpumalanga Provincial AIDS Council, we have ensured coordinated action across government, civil society, and the private sector. MPAC remains a critical structure. It drives accountability, monitors implementation, and ensures that our response to HIV is not fragmented, but united and strategic. Our hospitals and clinics have been strengthened. We have invested in training healthcare professionals, in new treatment protocols. upgrading health facilities to meet ideal health standards, ensuring pharmaceutical readiness and supply chain stability, enhancing digital system for patients monitoring and follow-up. Thina, as a province, sizimisele ukufika ku-95%, kodwa ngeke siyifikelela le target sodwa as government. Siyacela ukuthi all of us, we must work together, sitesteni phela. Kufanele sitesta sonke so that we'll know our status. After sitestile if si positive, kufanele sithatha i-treatment. Ngiyanicela ningayiyekeli i-treatment. Mina angikholwi ukuthi ningahluleka ukujova just kayi-2 kuphela in a year. I don't believe. We are not just launching Lenacapavir. We are ready for it. Ngize nganiva lapha eMpumalanga niqula nithi ono Max ngithi get ready. Ono Max, get set. We are ready for Ramaphosa. Uzofika upresident today usilethela umjovo Lenacapavir. Manje sengicela ukuthi ningathi we are only ready for Ramaphosa. We are also ready for Lenacapavir. Once again, let me welcome all our distinguished guests, partners, and communities. Your presence here today is not just appreciated, it is powerful. Send a message that we stand together, government, civil society, business, and the global community, united in purpose. Ono Max, get set. We are ready for Ramaphosa. Ono Max, get set. We are ready for Ramaphosa. We are ready. Our Commander-in-Chief of the Army, we are ready for Lenacapavir. Ngiyabonga, thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's again put our hands together for the Premier. Thank you. So, in my language, we say that you can now take off your jackets. That's the English one. In my language, we say the dogs are now tied somewhere. But the Premier or we are now going to ask the MEC to give us acknowledgement of all our guests of honor who are here today. MEC.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Program Director, our Deputy Minister, Dr. Patha, together with our co-chair of MPEC in the province, Umama Usonto. I'm given the responsibility to acknowledge the guests that are here. I must indicate that today, as being a special day, led by the President, he brought a team that will assist us as a country to end HIV and AIDS in public health sector. In our midst, we have the Minister, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, of course, who's the champion of making sure that this Lenacapavir is implemented in the country. Dr. Motsoaledi, stand up. He is with the Deputy Minister, Dr. Patha, who is also the Program Director, Dr. Patha. Let me also indicate, Honorable Program Directors and Honorable Premier Minister, that today we are having a delegation of executive mayors that are led by the provincial chairperson of Salga, Councillor Mngomezulu. Can you rise, Councillor Mngomezulu? He is also the District Aids Council of Gersibande, and the other 3 District Aids Council are here with their local aids council in the province. They are all here in this gathering. We also have Dr. Tembisile Kulu, the CEO of SANEC, also with the leadership coming from other provinces because they've got the responsibility to national multi-sectoral response of HIV and AIDS. Dr. Kulu. We also have in our midst our COSATU representation from our organized labor in the country, and today it is led by Mr. Duncan Luvuyo. We also have the speakers of the legislature in our midst. The deputy speaker is also here, leading also other speakers in the province of the local municipalities. The deputy speaker, Ubaba Umasango. We also have Miss Nompulemelelo Zigalala of the SANEC private sector in our midst, leading all the sectors, representing our partners in government, in business and civil society. Can you stand up, Ms. Nompumelelo Zigalala? We also have Mr. Daniel O'Day, the CEO of Gilead Science, whose organization developing Lenacapavir, one of the most significant scientist breakthrough in HIV and AIDS. We are here today because of Mr. Daniel O'Day. Can you stand up, Mr. Daniel, CEO? Yeah, I see that you're clapping more for him. He's the main man today in terms of the Lenacapavir. We also have in our midst Mr. Peter Sands, the Executive Director of the Global Fund. They assist us to be able to get this Lenacapavir. Let's, Mr. Peter, can you stand up? Let's give him a round of applause. Unembasha, imbasha funding. Yeah. We also have in our midst Mr. Miles Kemplay of the Children's Investment Fund Foundation. Also, imbasha, asimbeterenzadla. I'm coming. Yeah. We also have in our midst Ms. N. Kituku Shongwe, the Regional Director of UNAIDS. Can you step hands for him? We also have the co-chair of the Deputy President in our SANEC. Remember the SANEC, the Deputy President is leading together with the co-chair, Mr. Solundu. Can you give him a round of applause? We also have Ms. N. Kituku Shongwe, our Regional Director of UNAIDS. Oh, hey, Pazamsile Minister. We have got Dr. Philip Dunton, the Executive Director of the UNITAID. We have got Ms. Shanaise A. Halabi, Country Director of the World Health Organization. A round of applause. And we do have the chairperson of the subcommittee. Yeah, the last reporter already she has started to whip us here with the members of the subcommittee of health nationally. Asimshayele izandla. Yeah? Oh, Miss Mutambi, Mama, can you rise and greet our people in the country? Yabona mawuthi mama ujwayele ukuthi mama ukhohla kumbiza ngegama ngoba ufuna ukumbiza. Yeah. So we also have the people who are going to implement this Lenacapavir, the front line runners of this program. In our midst, we have got MEC from Eastern Cape. Can you greet them? In our midst, we have MEC from Limpopo. Can you greet her? In our midst, we have got MEC from KZN. Can you greet them? Yeah, team yami khona la siphelele. We are ready. Manje uthi minister. Oh, yeah, in our midst we have got the Gauteng MEC. Can you rise and greet our people? We have got the MEC of Northwest in our midst. Can you rise and greet them? Uthi Premier, ready for Ramaphosa. Uthi Minister of Health akaculi kahle. Mina ke bathe ngizocula kahle. Bathi we are ready. We are ready for Lenacapavir. We are ready. We are ready for Lenacapavir. Yeah, thank you very much. I think I've acknowledged everyone in our midst, and those that I have not acknowledged, I've seen Undabezita. Yeah. In our midst, you have seen Ndabezita. Yeah. We have seen the deputy chairperson of the House of Traditional Leadership, Ubaba Uyende, uhamba namanye amakhosi in the province, especially city Ndabezita. Ndabezita. Thank you very much, Sabo.
Asimshayeleni izandla uMEC wethu. Siyabonga MEC acknowledge our guest. Mina ke igama sebashilo. Emarathina sesiyazana yo chairperson we have SABC dancer. So I'm famous sebayangazi. But ngiyanibingelela namhlanje kuseni. Also in our midst chairperson we have all 9 provincial civil society chairpersons in the house. We've got Western Cape, Limpopo, Gauteng, Free State. We have all of them. And then we also have all national civil society sectors in the house. And we also have all local district civil society in the house. Ngisasho njalo sizocela uLabor ezengaphambili azosinikeza. We are going on a message of support. We really appreciate ukuthi today in governing Pegi in Mpumalanga, today is about hope, today is about innovation, and today is about protecting the future generation. And today is about ending TB today. Labor as one of our partnership across where we fight HIV and AIDS response. I will request Comrade Mulalo to come up front. Amanda!
Thank you very much, Comrade Sonto. Amanda. And my name is Muraro Murudi. I might be doubling up today. I'm the co-chairperson of the Global Fund CCM in South Africa. But I stand here today on behalf of the president of COSATU, Comrade Zingiswa Losi, and the collective. As COSATU, we wish to send our greetings to the Honorable President of the Republic of South Africa and His Excellency, the Deputy President, Mr. Paul Mashatile, in absentia. We wish to send our greetings to you, Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, I wish to send a special greeting to the CCM members who are gathered here today for your time and your commitment and your dedication and the work that you have done to make sure that all of us in South Africa is gathered here today. I wish to recognize you today. I wish to recognize all ministers and deputy ministers here, MECs who are here, our international guests from WHO, from UNAIDS, from UNITAID, and all of you, our development partners. A special greeting to you, Mr. Peter Sens, the ED of the Global Fund, Chair of the Civil Society Forum and the civil society family here. I also wish to greet you, together with the private sector leadership that's here. Workers and comrades, all protocol observed. This is a historic moment of hope. Today is one of those rare days where we are allowed to be hopeful. Not cautiously hopeful, not politically hopeful, not wait and see hopeful, but genuinely hopeful. Because today we witness what is possible when science, when leadership, when partnership and community determination comes together. As we launch Lenacapavir today, before we celebrate where we are, we must remember where we come from. For many of us in this room today, HIV is not simply a disease. It is a chapter of our lives. It is the friend that we buried. It is the colleagues that we lost. And it's the family members that we mourned, and the communities that carried unimaginable burdens. It is also a story of healthcare workers who refused to give up, activists who marched when nobody wanted to listen, researchers who never stopped searching for solutions, and ordinary South Africans who showed the world what courage looks like. South Africa is home to the largest HIV treatment program in the world, with millions accessing life-saving antiretroviral therapy, yet HIV still affects too many South Africans to date. Thousands of new infections occur every year, particularly amongst young women, adolescent girls, and key populations. This is why today matters. Every infection prevented is a life changed. Every infection prevented is a family protected. Every infection prevented is a future preserved. And every prevention tool brings us one step closer to ending HIV as a public health threat. So indeed, Vision 2030 is possible. So what was the decision that changed the future? Allow me to take you back to this time last year. Many of us see today as this launch and think the journey started here. Well, it did not. It started in boardrooms and consultation rooms, in technical meetings and difficult conversations. Around this time last year, the CCM was informed that South Africa's Global Fund allocation will drop approximately from 549 to around $402 million US. And at the same time, South Africa was invited to become one of the pioneering countries globally to introduce Lenacapavir. Pioneer sounds very exciting, and it is, until somebody tells you must find $29 million within the already reduced allocation to make it happen. And suddenly everybody becomes interested in mathematics. And there were moments, colleagues, when we wished that the calculator would have given us a different answer. The discussions that followed were not easy. The CCM and its leadership, civil society, and the National Department of Health were locked in intense deliberation. And I remember at a time, the leadership of the Global Fund also came to the country to come and assist us, to engage, because we understood the importance of Lenacapavir. So those conversations were robust, at times were uncomfortable, and incredibly challenging. Every program was important, every dollar had already a purpose, and every decision had consequences. Yet one question kept guiding us: what decision will save the most lives tomorrow? If I'm completely honest, the journey was not perfect. While many celebrated the decision to bring Lenacapavir to South Africa, there were also moments of disappointment. Members of civil society and communities, even the CCM, has often felt that the endorsement of Lenacapavir's introduction, they had not been meaningfully included when the bus started moving. So excluding excluded by people who were not even there when the difficult negotiations were taking place. What gives me hope today is that we are all here. Government is here, communities are here, researchers are here, development partners are also here, and civil society is also here. Equally, the CCM is also here. Our president is also coming. So that tells us that South Africa still understands the central lesson of HIV response. Progress happens when we work together, not because we agree on everything, not because every conversation is comfortable, but because we remain committed to a shared goal bigger than any one institution, constituency, or individual. As we move to implementation, let us broaden participation and make the table bigger. The people most affected by HIV must never be spectators in decisions that affect their lives. There must be, when communities and partners work together, programs grow stronger, trust deepens, and impact grows. I'm about to conclude, Comrade Sonto. So if I touch on South Africa's global leadership, Your Excellency, in his absence, his presence elevates that this occasion goes beyond the launch of a new HIV prevention tool. It signals South Africa's continued commitment to ending HIV as a public health threat and affirms that the fight remains a national priority at the highest level. South Africa has often led from the front. We have shown the world what is possible when government, communities, and partners work together. Today, once again, we stand among the first countries globally to introduce one of the most promising HIV prevention innovations of our generations. And this is no accident. It is the result of years of investment and partnership, advocacy, and leadership. It is the result of communities refusing to give up. It is the story of a country that continues to choose hope over despair and innovations over complacency. Let us now shift from innovation to sustainability. As we celebrate this scientific breakthrough, we must also begin the next chapter. History teaches us that introducing an innovation is only the first step. Sustaining it is the real test. The success of Lenacapavir will not be measured by today's launch, the number of speeches, or the photographs taken. It will be measured by whether a young woman in Lusikisiki, in Thohoyandou and Khayelitsha can still access it years from now. It will be measured by whether communities and most vulnerable HIV populations continue to benefit long after the pilot programs and donor-funded initiatives end. It will be measured by whether South Africa integrates Lenacapavir into a sustainable, nationally owned HIV prevention response. As I conclude, Comrade Sonto, as we move to the next phase of Lenacapavir and implementation, let us continue that tradition. Let us make the table bigger, and let us ensure that communities and young people, key populations and healthcare workers, policymakers remain active in shaping the future of prevention in South Africa. So we wish to congratulate you, Mr. President, and the country, but most especially we wish to congratulate the CCM for the leadership and having brought us this far as a country.
Thank you very much, Siabonga. Can I say this? I think here we are just giving a message of support. I'll give you 5 minutes. Unfortunately, and when you see standing next to you, your time is up. So let us just give the message of support. The problem is that the president is almost Usega corner, and the program is long. Now we are going to call a business sector, Unompumelelo Zindegalala, from SANEC private sector. Asimshayeleni izandla. Yazi private sector mayiza phela ucabanga ukuthi hayi vele imali. Manje manithule so vele uyabona ukuthi hayi we are loaded. Manithule so phela ukuthi hayi. Singamshayela izandla futhi. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Program Director. Abantu basempumalanga bayithanda imali. Based on what you said, we will forget about money.
Jokes aside, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, as he is on his way, Deputy Minister of Health, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, Premier of Mpumalanga, Mr. Mandla Ndlovu, distinguished leaders from government, labor, civil society, and our global partners, ladies and gentlemen, and more importantly, the community of Mpumalanga. Please allow me to skip the rest of protocol because I would like to actually stick to the 5 minutes. Sanmonan, it is absolutely a privilege to stand here today at what is truly a historic moment in our country's fight against HIV and AIDS. Today is not just about the launch of a new medicine, it's the launch of a new possibility. Another frontier gained in the fight against HIV and AIDS. All of us know that for decades in our country, we have actually shown the rest of the world that a lot has been done. And we did this with courage, resilience, innovation when it came to our HIV response. We built the largest treatment program globally and have already expanded our prevention tools to millions of South Africans. An ARV program that is unparalleled, something we should be all proud of as a nation. However, we also know the truth. HIV continues sadly to take too many lives and too many infections still occur every day. And that is why today matters to all of us. Lenacapavir represents a fundamental shift in the fight against HIV, and it signals, in military terms, our gaining of strategic ground in what has been decades of a long battle to preserve lives. The Premier said this, umjovo owodwa othathwa kabili ngonyaka. I have to say that all of us have got to love this. So, Mr. President, as he comes through, Minister, and all who have been involved, congratulations for this spectacular launch of this incredible innovation. This is certainly us moving forward as a country. And this reminds us that science, when paired with commitment, can change the arc of an epidemic. I'm not going to go through a whole lot of points because I know that all of us will cover them. The couple of things that I would like to single out, because this is what stands out for us, is that we all need to understand the benefits. It's the fact that this will change people's lives. For women who cannot take a pill every day, for workers who are part of our sector, I have to say, who are constantly on the move, for communities facing stigma and access barriers, and especially, I have to mention this, for South African men who are not fully reached by medical care, either through choice or societal pressure due to stigma and other factors. So this is still, as we all know, something that we need to tackle as a country. And this innovation brings us closer to a future where prevention is not complicated, it's not burdensome, but it's simple, discreet, as well as effective. Now, two things before I end. As the private sector forum, we are committed to standing alongside government, labor, civil society, and global partners in this effort. And we won't do this as simply observers, we will do this as partners. And I'll repeat this again. We'll do this as partners with the same intent and accountability as everyone in this room. Because as we know, the fight against HIV is not just a government issue. It's not just a community issue. It is not just a health sector issue. It is sadly a societal and economic issue. And that is why we will stand alongside as partners. And here at last night's private sector forum dinner, with the chairperson of SANAC, our deputy president, Paul Mashatile, and other stakeholders present today, the deputy president of BUSA reminded us that business's commitment to the HIV response actually dates back to the early 2000s, where sectors like the mining industry contributed to the rollout of antiretroviral treatment at scale. And this was at the time where access was still very limited, and some were actually in a stage of denial. And this, for us as a country, helped all of us lay the foundation for broader treatment programs. And on a personal note, I was particularly humbled that Anglo-American, and that's the company that I actually work for, I'm the CEO of Kumba Iono. Anglo-American was among those that stepped forward early, investing in treatment, prevention, and care programs that not only supported our employees, but extended into families and later into our host communities. So as I close, there are 3 priorities. We need to do this with scale, with equity, and with sustainability. Let us remember that ending HIV is not a distant ambition. It is definitely an achievable goal and one that we can get to within our lifetime. So on behalf of business, we are sending a clear message to every community, to every young person, and to every South African. We are about expanding choice today, and that is why we celebrate the launch of Lenacapavir. We are strengthening protection, and we are all serious about ending HIV together. I thank you. Ngiyabonga.
So much. Singamshayela izandla. Already a protocol has been established. If you come here, kwamanje we are going to call upon the civil society chairperson at the national Ubabu Solinduku, and then Ubabu Solinduku says a phambili. Ngicela owami from ozoba testify ngi Lenacapavir abeseduze. And then I think after owami we have a statement of support from Gilead Science. Mr. Daniel O'Day, can you come up on stage? Just sit at the back so that we try to manage time.
Core program directors, His Excellency, the President of the Republic, the Deputy President and the Co-Chair of SANAC, Minister of Health, Honorable Motsoaledi, other ministers present, Premier of Mpumalanga, Honorable MECs, Members of Parliament and Provincial Legislatures, Acting DG, SANAC CEO, Dr. Kulu, our esteemed traditional leaders, representatives from the private sectors led by Comrade Mpumi, organized labor, UN family, mayors as led by Salga, the Global Fund delegation as led by Peterson, leaders of civil society led by the First Deputy, Comrade Sheila, provincial chairs, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, members of the media, I greet you all. Amanda! And most importantly, I extend warmest greetings to the communities that we serve. It is both an honor and a privilege to join you today at historic occasion, the national launch of the Lenacapavir, a breakthrough that has the potential to transform HIV prevention efforts in South Africa and globally. Today marks more than introduction of a new biomedical intervention. It presents hope, innovation, scientific excellence, and the power of partnership between government, communities, researchers, civil society, the private sector, and the people who courageously participated in the clinical trials to make this moment possible. As the SANAC Civil Society Forum, we stand firmly behind this initiative. We welcome the Lenacapavir as a significant addition to South Africa's intervention and prevention toolkit as a critical step towards achieving our national goal of ending HIV as a public health threat. This achievement did not happen in laboratories alone. it was made possible through commitment of ordinary people, particularly the young people who volunteered to participate in clinical trials. The courage, the trust, and willingness to contribute to scientific advancement have created a prevention option that will benefit millions around the world. Today, we acknowledge and salute every participant, every researcher, every healthcare worker, every community mobilizer, and every advocate who contributed to this journey. This is a victory for science, but it is also a victory for the communities. Colleagues and compatriots, South Africa continues to carry one of the world's largest HIV burdens. While we have significant progress, we've made significant progress in treatment access and suppression. Prevention remains our greatest opportunity to reduce new infections and ultimately end the epidemic. Lenacapavir offers us a powerful new opportunity. However, access alone is not enough. We must ensure that this innovation reaches those who need it most. SANAC Civil Society Forum therefore calls upon all key and vulnerable populations to embrace available HIV prevention services, including this new option when it becomes accessible. We particularly encourage the adolescent girls and young women, pregnant women, sex workers, people who inject drugs, men who have sex with men, key and vulnerable communities. No one should be left behind. Equity, accessibility, affordability, and community-centered implementation must guide the rollout. As civil society, we remain committed to supporting and demand creation, community education, advocacy, accountability, and meaningful community involvement. Your Excellency, your leadership and government continued commitment to HIV and AIDS is appreciated. Let us this day be remembered as a turning point in our collective journey towards ending AIDS-free generation. Together, let us ensure that every person has the right information, every community has access to prevention choices, and every South African has the opportunity to live healthy and productive life from HIV. The SANAC Civil Society Forum pledges its full support to this national effort. Together, we can end AIDS, HIV as a public health threat. I thank you. Amanda, away to.
Siyabonga babsoli uyasho lapho babsoli ukuthi ugovernment wethu mara simshayeleni izandla sibuye ekudeni nalo government silana sisuka ekudeni kabi silana manje yazi honorable premier sometimes ngiyaxakeka ngancane nje ngifuna ukuthi nje short left ukuthi ngiyaxakeka abantu bayekela iantenatal care bayeka sididekile people eneka antenatal care yila sithola khona Dr. Aaron Mtswaledi impilo ngisho ANC mara ngisho iantenatal care muntu omusha
iyo seksele kancane sizophumelela iyo seksele kancane sizophumelela yo seksele kancane sizophumelela yo seksele kancane sizophumelela Noma wenyuke endleleni sesele kancane sizophumelela kancane
kusele kancane.
It's Olwam Plachi from Cape Town. I'm one of the PrEP users. I've been using 3 methods of PrEP. It was first method I've been using. It was oral PrEP. I changed to Len. Then after Len, after a mistake. Kawe to. As I'm standing here, I want to share my experience with you about PrEP. When I changed to Cap LA, no, I started with Cap. Then I go to Cap LA because I wanted to come twice a year for the injection. Oh, fuck. After the experience I had with Len, there was only sweating and having noodles, which is a makuma in the stomach. You decide where you want to be injected. The only thing I want to say to young people, I want to say don't delay, just get protected today. Yeah. It's okay.
Mandla! Mandla!
Kusele kancane
kancane sizophumelela yo yo yo
Kusele kancane. Kusele
Thank you. Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa, distinguished leaders, partners, colleagues, and friends, it's an incredible honor for me to be here today, this very, very important place at this very, very important time. I'm very honored. And how powerful was that to hear from the courageous people that were involved in helping us with these clinical trials. Lenacapavir is the result of 17 years of development by Gilead scientists. Over those years, through all the trial and error, many medicines failing, what kept us going was the understanding that a twice yearly prevention option could one day make a meaningful difference in the fight to end HIV. That day is now here. And today I want to recognize the significant role that South Africa played in making this possible. The clinical trials for Lenacapavir were anchored in collaboration with South African scientists, community members, and of course, the people who took part in the studies, who you just heard from. Our collaboration led to a new type of trial for HIV prevention, one that included adolescents and women who were pregnant or breastfeeding. The data generated helped ensure these critical populations could be reflected in the approval of Lenacapavir from the start, from day one, here in South Africa and throughout the world. In November last year, I was able to visit one of the clinical trial sites for Lenacapavir in Johannesburg at the kind invitation of Professor Rees, who's here today. And I saw for myself the tremendous capabilities and dedication at WITS and the value of the strong collaboration between Gilead scientists and research teams here in South Africa. For more than 2 decades, South Africa has shown exemplary leadership in shaping global HIV efforts, from access to medicines, to new models of testing and treatment, to research that has deepened our understanding of how HIV intersects with poverty, gender inequality, and stigma. Gilead has been proud to be your partner along the way. And today we are proud that Lenacapavir will now help to accelerate the efforts to end HIV. We're extremely pleased that South Africa is one of the first countries in the world to receive Lenacapavir. I want to acknowledge the Global Fund for their leadership and their partnership in reaching this milestone, along with the US State Department for their broader work in sub-Saharan Africa. I also want to applaud the remarkable efforts of SAFRA and the National Department of Health. Lenacapavir is the first new HIV medicine of its kind to reach sub-Saharan Africa in the same year that it was approved in the United States. It's never been done before. And this is something that we at Gilead were intent on achieving as soon as we knew how effective Lenacapavir could be in ending HIV. That included immediately voluntary licensing Lenacapavir to generic manufacturers for long-term sustainable supply, and ramping up our own manufacturing, working with the Global Fund to make sure that we could be here today to launch it in South Africa. And achieving this goal is proof that we can do things differently to reach people faster in the process. And finally, I want to congratulate the Department of Health on an impressive rollout program that you've put in place with thousands of healthcare workers trained and ready to bring Lenacapavir to those most in need, starting today, but starting in earnest on Monday. Workers are trained and they're ready, and we're ready to make the kind of impact that our scientists envisioned during their 2 decades of work in the lab. All of us at Gilead are proud to stand with you in this work, and together we have the opportunity to move from breakthrough science to breakthrough delivery and end the HIV epidemic for everyone, everywhere. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, siyabonga kakhulu. Sizobiza Miles from the Children Invest Fund Foundation. It's where we need more foundation. I know that it's just a matter of time. Time is jealousy. But as in Mpumalanga, everything it happens. One day we'll call you on the conference where we'll have the whole day and we get all the information because we really need the information. Miles?
Honorable President, ministers, distinguished guests, everyone here, thank you. It is a great privilege and pleasure to be with you. On a chilly morning, thank you for the warm welcome. Siyabonga. The Children's Investment Fund Foundation stands in solidarity with South Africa and with the communities, families, and frontline workers who carry the HIV response every day. The foundation has worked on HIV for over 20 years, and like you, we have experienced both optimism and fear. But now, perhaps more than ever, we can believe we can face the future with renewed hope. South Africa has shown global leadership in the HIV response. You are implementing the world's largest HIV treatment program. You've scaled oral PrEP. You are confronting the epidemic head on. That leadership has saved millions of lives. And now South Africa is taking another bold step to scale long-acting HIV prevention with Lenacapavir. Prevention tools are now powerful enough to significantly cut new infections. Yet uptake has not kept pace. We have left too many people behind, especially those most vulnerable. They are still unreached. This phase is an opportunity to change that. For adolescent girls and young women, for vulnerable communities, and for the next generation of children. Prevention at scale requires investment, but it will ultimately pay for itself. This means backing innovation, accelerating delivery, driving down costs through the introduction and scale of generics, and building a system that works for the most vulnerable. It relies greatly on South Africa's dynamic civil society, the community-led organizations, the advocates, the activists, the private sector, and those who understand the needs of those most vulnerable. Because what happens in South Africa sets the pace for the continent. Given its size and scale, South Africa's rollout will make it easier for generics to get to scale, to lower prices, which will benefit millions more people outside of South Africa itself. This is why we celebrate South Africa's commitment to fund and scale HIV prevention, which will ultimately reach millions of people. It will unlock real momentum, going further and faster. Because of this, with backing from the Children's Investment Fund, the Global Fund will boost its support for South Africa's Lenacapavir rollout from $29 million to $69 million. This is what real partnership looks like. Government leadership, crowding in global capital, and the prize is clear. We know modeling shows that tools like Lenacapavir can help South Africa achieve epidemic control 10 years earlier than the status quo, delivering a promise to the next generation, to our children, that we acted today, truly a new era in HIV prevention. Siyabonga. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Asimshayeleni izandla kakhulu. Indeed, we want to thank Mr. Miles Kempley on behalf of the Children's Investment Fund Foundation, because as he has indicated, they are very much committed. They are a major funder to what we are doing here today. But not only here, I can say to you also that they are also a major funder globally. Good major contributor also to the Global Fund. In the last investment drive of the replenishment of the Global Fund, the Children's Foundation also made a good contribution. So they are indeed a very good partner to the health of all the people of the world and South Africans. Ladies and gentlemen, at this stage, we are going to ask, on behalf of the World Health Organization, representing the DG of the WHO, Dr. Tedros, we have our own country director for WHO, Mayor Shanaz Al-Alhabi, who's going to speak to give a message of support on behalf of the World Health Organization. Shanaz, we are welcome to give your message of support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, co-program directors, the Deputy Minister of Health, Dr. Joe Patla, and Menkosi. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa, the Premier of Mpumalanga, Premier Ndlovu, the Minister of Health, Dr. Aaron Mutwaledi, Deputy Minister of Health, Dr. Joe Patla, the MEC for Health, Mayor Janet Manzini, and also all other MECs that are here today, MEC from Limpopo, Gauteng, Eastern Cape, and Northwest provinces, the Executive Mayor, Councillor Ntlankanipo, and other mayors that are here today, SANAC leadership structures, partners, friends, traditional leaders, civil society, chair, and the family, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Good morning. We gather at a defining moment in the fight against HIV. Today, because of science, political leadership, community action, and sustained investment, ending AIDS as a public health threat is no longer a distant aspiration. It is an achievable goal. South Africa has been at the forefront of this journey through bold political commitment, one of the world's largest HIV treatment programs, strong community engagement and partnerships across government, civil society, and development partners. The country has saved millions of lives and prevented countless infections. Globally, we have made remarkable progress, reducing new HIV infections by more than 60% since their peak in the mid-1990s, and by around 40% since 2010. Yet, 1.3 million people still acquire HIV infections every year, far above the global targets. Sub-Saharan Africa continues to bear the greatest burden, accounting for nearly 2/3 of new infections worldwide, with adolescent girls and young women remaining disproportionately affected. These numbers remind us that while progress is real, the fight against HIV is far from over. That is why today matters. Lenacapavir represents one of the most significant scientific breakthroughs in HIV prevention in recent history. This launch sends a powerful message that South Africa is not waiting for the future of HIV prevention. It is helping to shape it. Your Excellency, while the greatest public health dividends from Lenacapavir will be realized when access reaches millions of people at substantial risk of HIV infection, often transformative public health programs rarely begin at full scale. They begin with a first bold and ambitious step, informed by available resources, supply realities, implementation experience, and a commitment to learn, improve, and expand. As WHO, we are thus glad that today's launch is not being viewed as a destination, but as the beginning of a journey of partnerships towards progressively broader.
Sorry to disturb Ma'am Shanaz. Can we please rise to welcome His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Africa, President Matamela Ramaphosa. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We can be seated. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you. just 2 minutes.
No, it's fine. For me to wrap up.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Can we get seated so that we can continue? Please, paparazzis, can we sit down, please? Can we take our seats so that we can be able to continue? Please, ladies and gentlemen, please take our seats. We know that you are excited to see the president here, but please take your seats so that we can be able to conclude. Then you'll have more time with him. If we can conclude the program, you'll have more time to shake hands. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's have order. Let's have order so that we can allow our country director for WHO to just wrap up a message. Then we can have one or two other messages before we call Minister Mtsoaledi. Shanas, you can continue.
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, WHO welcomes the global partnerships that have helped unlock broader access to Lenacapavir through voluntary licensing arrangements.
Hello, asithuleni angisho sifuna ukulalela asingaba ngumsindo please.
Paving the way for more affordable generic production. Langkudra. WHO remains fully committed to supporting South Africa throughout this journey, from updating national policies and guidelines to generating evidence for sustainable scale-up, mobilizing financing, and strengthening people-centered service delivery models that bring prevention closer to communities. Together with government and partners, we will continue working to ensure that this breakthrough translates into real and equitable public health impact. Your Excellency, history will remember moments when science, political leadership, and public health came together to change the course of an epidemic. From Secunda today, South Africa sends a message to Africa and the world. When science, solidarity, and political leadership comes together, ending HIV is not merely possible, it is inevitable. Let us seize this opportunity to accelerate progress towards an AIDS-free generation and ensure that no one is left behind. Nyabonga kakulu kyaleboga bagaetso.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to our country director for WHO, Shanas. Thank you very much. She's here representing the DG of WHO, Dr. Tedros. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move with speed. At this stage now, I'm going to welcome on stage, on behalf of the Executive Director of UNAIDS, on behalf of Mayor Winnie Nyanimba, we're going to welcome our Regional Director for UNAIDS, Mayor Anne Shongwe. She's going to address us now. Over to you, Anne.
I need to hold this one. Your Excellency, President Cyril Ramaphosa, Minister Mtsoaledi, Deputy Minister, MEC, Premier,
all those who are representing governments, our partners, our friends from the private sector, young people who are in the room, communities who are here present, we see you and we greet you from UNAIDS. I bring you greetings from our Executive Director, Winnie Byanyima, who unfortunately was unable to be here today, but brings her best wishes and her apologies together. South Africa today joins 8 other countries in Africa who have launched Lenacapavir in the last few months. And so congratulations, Gilead and the Global Fund and countries who've been able to move us so quickly that Africa is a real leader in this. In just these 3 months, countries have launched, have moved, and this is a moment for us to celebrate. So South Africa, we are very, very excited to be here. We stand with you as UNAIDS, and we will continue to understand what it will take for us to really, really change the game for prevention of HIV. South Africa has already been a leader in the rollout of PrEP, with impressive scale over the years, from 100,000 in 2020 to 500,000 in 2024, and it's testament to the health systems. We have heard about your ambitious rollout. We have seen these plans. Our modeling by UNAIDS shows us that for South Africa to reach 1 million people with Lenacapavir for a year would reduce HIV infections by 30,000. And that's 30,000 out of the 140,000 that we need to reduce. So CIF, Global Fund, we're happy to hear that you're increasing that investment, because the reach needs to be a few more millions than we're reaching right now. And I believe this is what Dr. Motsoaledi was saying earlier. And we know that of those 140,000, 59% of those are girls and women. So the targeting is critical. We commend South Africa for the bold decision to prioritize young women and girls, to also prioritize key populations who are the most vulnerable. But we know that access is about more than availability. And we have lessons to learn from the countries who've already launched. The first lesson is this: PrEP has to be universally accessible, and all the barriers that we know so well must be reduced. Data shows us already that the countries who have launched and rolled out Lenacapavir, in the last 3 months, only 6,000 people have been reached with the injections because of the barriers. Barriers of stigma in health facilities, long distances and access, fewer prevention facilities by NGOs who have lost a lot of their investments, poor information and misinformation even. Community organizations, peer supporters, key populations, young people, those who are standing right here in front of us, plus the innovations that South Africa has created, whether it's CMDD or using digital tools, these are the ones that are going to break and create the change. Dr. Motsoaledi has been making a statement across the world that is important. Lenacapavir alone will not solve the problem. We must celebrate this breakthrough, but remember that we need other prevention tools around it. It does not prevent sexually transmitted infections, other ones, nor does it stop unintended pregnancies. And so we must couple and combine our Lenacapavir with other combination prevention tools so that we are effective across the board. The success of Lenacapavir will depend on how we integrate comprehensive prevention. My third big lesson is about reaching those most vulnerable. Over the course of today, 100 girls in this country between 15 and 24 will acquire HIV. So we must target them. We must find them, whether in schools or in churches or in organizations or Soul City, all these different programs that we know about. That is where we must reach them. President Ramaphosa, I found a quote from you from 10 years ago. You said this: young women and girls are the heart and future of South Africa. Do you remember your own voice? We must together safeguard and support them as they make their transition to adulthood, protecting them from dangers, including HIV transmission. You were launching She Conquers. And because of She Conquers and other similar programs, we have seen the change. We have seen the impact. But we're not there yet. Let's learn from those programs. Because what did these programs do? They wrapped around girls and key populations other programs. They made sure that where girls stay in school and work with the ministries of education, departments of education across this region, it makes a big difference because we know when girls stay in school and finish school, we have an 87% chance of reducing HIV infection amongst those girls. So Lenacapavir and schools must be combined. Lenacapavir must be combined with economic opportunities for girls and young women. Make sure they have the jobs so that they can feed, they can access them, they can... And this is the same for key populations. I just focused on girls because the number is so much higher. And so as we think about these initiatives, we have to be able to ask ourselves, how are we going to invest in those programs that are not just in the public system, but also in the NGOs who have been at the forefront of delivering services to communities. Let us roll out Lenacapavir in a manner that is comprehensive. When we bring together what PrEP has taught us, what these programs like She Conquers have taught us, we can make a decisive difference. South Africa is leading SADC right now. And your negotiations with Gilead right here in the room, Minister Mutwaledi, must also do, as you said earlier, include all these other countries who look to you to make the difference. And so as I conclude, just to say that SADC are all looking forward to the manufacturing of Lenacapavir in this country for its availability at an affordable cost and beyond SADC as well. So today from UNAIDS, we just want to say to you, we're celebrating the remarkable scientific achievement, the important step that South Africa is taking, the key role that you have played. And now comes the harder task, ensuring that this promise reaches every woman and girl who deserves it, every key population member who deserves it. Because for that young woman right here in Secunda who receives her dose of Lenacapavir, this innovation is truly a game changer. We thank you and we stand with you from across the UN and the UNAIDS partnership. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, time is our enemy. Without any waste of time, I'm going to also invite for just a brief comment one of our major partners, the Executive Director of UNITAID, Dr. Philippe. UNITAID is a very important partner in this program and in many other programs which we are implementing in the country, and specifically in terms of the program we are launching here today. We invite Dr. Philippe just to say a few words as we recognize their participation and their contribution. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Minister. Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa, yes, Minister, Your Excellency, Premier of the Mpumalanga province, dear colleagues, dear friends. I will be short because you said it. I think that we stand with you since 20 years. And as you know, in many ways, the situation and the response of South Africa is amazing, fighting HIV and TB, and we have done a lot. The other characteristic is want to really insist is the quality of the research. We are talking here about a product that can protect women from HIV. This is currently the only one who can do that. And it has been developed by Gilead Science, and you mentioned, but also with the team here in South Africa, who demonstrate the impact. And this is absolutely key. And I'm very proud to say hello to Ellen Rice, who lead WITS, because it's not just for Lenacapavir, it's more than 12 years of work in the prevention. The second thing is that we also commend the work and also the generosity of Gilead Science, because in top of working with the Global Fund and others, you had allowed us to work with to create the generic market that will come in addition, and this is quite important. And that's why we have been in situation to conclude the price of $40 a year that will apply here in South Africa. That makes a big difference. Innovation without access creates injustice, and I think that's what we are also in front of the challenge. The last point I want to make is even the creation generic market is not enough. It was said, but we, and we have an agreement with Gilead to do that, will contribute and help South Africa to produce Lenacapavir also here for the region. And this is part of the access. That's part of what we need to be done. So, of course, today is the beginning of a long journey that is quite important towards a free generation of HIV, and we stand by you and with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. A very reliable partner, Unitate. As I said, we have many programs which we are doing with them, and we appreciate that partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to invite also a very reliable partner for many years, the CEO or Executive Director of the Global Fund against HIV/AIDS, TB, and malaria. The Global Fund has been with us in these programs to fight against HIV/AIDS, TB, and malaria for the last 21 years, since 2004. Peter, 2004, yes. Probably. Yes.
I'm too young.
You're too young. He's our current executive director for the Global Fund. He's been there for almost 7 years now, looking after billions and billions of rands, of which just in the current cycle, the Global Fund allocated to us just over $450 million to South Africa. So if you multiply $450 million over a 3-year cycle, a major partner, very reliable, and not long ago, our president presided over the replenishment of the Global Fund in November this year in Sandton. And thanks to His Excellency that the Global Fund is still able to raise money, and Peter is here to speak to us. In terms of this program itself, those who were there at the clinic, those vials and pills, tablets of Lenacapavir which you saw, he is responsible for providing the current budget. So it's from his budget that we'll be able today to come and launch. So thank you very much, Peter, and pass our thanks to the board and the executive of the Global Fund. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa, my dear friends, Minister Motsoaledi, Deputy Minister Fala, Premier Mpumalanga, distinguished guests, dear friends, partners, all protocol observed. What a day. What a moment in the history of the fight against HIV/AIDS. People have said to me, indeed the President just said to me, I'm so glad you're here. And I'm like, how would I be anywhere else? This is such an exciting moment. For me personally, I've spent much of the last 18 months to 2 years trying to raise money to make this possible. And I really want to call out the Children's Investment Fund, but I also want to call out the President for his role in co-hosting the 8th replenishment. Thank you. And there were times last year, if we were honest, where it didn't even look as if it was going to happen. Things were kind of falling apart. It looked really difficult. But we're here. And we're here having negotiated with Gilead, who have proved to be a fantastic partner, having worked with partners like WHO, UNITAID, UNAIDS, all playing their own incredibly important roles, and ultimately working incredibly closely with the NDOH, with communities and civil society on the ground, in watching and supporting the CCM as it made some tough trade-offs and decisions. We got here. And what a moment. Lenacapavir is a truly game-changing tool in the history of the fight against HIV. It offers the promise of bringing forward the end of a pandemic that has killed over 40 million people worldwide and far, far too many people in South Africa. That is quite a moment. Today marks, with the launch of Lenacapavir in South Africa, the end in some ways of what I think is the first phase. We identified 9 countries to pioneer the launch of Lenacapavir, South Africa being the largest of these. Those 9 countries, as of today, have all now launched. But now, of course, as others have said, the really important thing matters. The really important thing happens, and that is actually getting Lenacapavir to the people who can benefit the most, to protecting people, to reducing transmission, to reducing new infections, and thus bringing forward the end of HIV/AIDS. Some 20,000, in fact, people have received Lenacapavir so far in the 8 other countries that have done their launches. And now, of course, having witnessed the first in South Africa, 20,001. So that's a great thing to see. South Africa has been a leader and a pioneer in the fight against HIV/AIDS, reflecting the fact that as a country, you confront the biggest national pandemic of HIV/AIDS endemic than of any country. And the Global Fund has been proud to be your partner. My notes say, Joe, that it's since 2002 that we have contributed $2.4 billion in this fight. But what really matters now is what happens next. What happens next in terms of the rollout, the actual implementation of Lenacapavir across the country, and how we scale up. Because to realize the full potential of this extraordinary scientific innovation, 2 things have to happen. One is it needs to be delivered at scale, and 2, it needs to get to the people who need it most. The adolescent girls and young women who are most at risk, the key and vulnerable populations who are most at risk. And Miles from the Children's Investment Fund has already mentioned the fact that in partnership, the Global Fund and the Children's Investment Fund are further scaling up our contributions, bringing the total, including the 29 million we've already committed, to over 69 million, alongside the government of South Africa itself. Because by going big and by going to the people who can benefit the most, we can maximize the impact on the pandemic. So, President and Minister Masuledi, you, South Africa, are continuing to demonstrate extraordinary leadership in the fight against HIV, not only by confronting the biggest HIV burden in the world, but by showing how you can change the trajectory of the epidemic through bold moves on prevention. The Global Fund and our partners like SIF are committed to standing by you in this fight, in supporting this ambition, so that ultimately, together, we can bring to reality the dream of an AIDS-free South Africa and an AIDS-free generation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Peter Sands. Mr. President, I can say without any doubt that the money which you have put in, how much was it? $26 million in November. I can tell you that it is in good hands. As a member of the board, I can vouch that Peter Sands is a very good executive director and all the contributions. That's why, notwithstanding all the doubts, the replenishment was able to raise upwards of just under $13 billion here in South Africa in November last year. So thank you very much. At this stage, ladies and gentlemen, I know you are getting a bit impatient. The President is going to speak very soon. But before he can speak, we must also give the platform to the host minister who brought us here, Minister Mtsoaledi, our Minister of Health in the Republic, to come and tell us. I know we have already said why we are here, but he must also come and emphasize why we are here as he also ushers in the President, Minister Mtsoaledi, the Honorable Minister. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Program Directors. Thank you very much, Dr. Phahla, Deputy Minister of Health. We have been warned by the Program Directors here that the Premier has greeted everybody one by one, and that all of us must just say protocol observed. So because the President was not here, he's the only one I want to greet. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Africa. Thank you very much. President, you see, this program is very long. The organizations that are here, the World Health Organization, the Global Fund, Children Investment Fund, United, Gilead, all the organizations that are here wanted to be here because they want to work with us to bring an end to HIV and AIDS. That's our mission of being here. We are worried that as South Africans, we are starting to get used to the idea that we can live with AIDS. And we are here to say, in the next 8 years, we want AIDS to be past history. And we need to work together to do that. Now, I want to give a few reports, President, before you stand up. Civil society, who are our greatest partners in this battle, as you know, through SANAC, have given you some messages there. Those messages reflect that they want more because they believe what is there is not going to be enough, because it has been said that unless we put 2 million people on Lenacapavir, we won't be able to end HIV and AIDS. And there's anxiety among civil society that we might not reach that number, because today, as we are launching the doses that were donated by Global Fund, by Peter Sands, who stood here just before I came, a short while ago, they've given us 900,000 doses. And because you need 2 doses per annum, it means it's only 400,000 people. And there's anxiety what happens thereafter. Now, I'm standing here, Mr. President, to allay their fears and answer the question for you. While Gilead is the originator of this Lenacapavir, know that in terms of international rules, they have got a 20 years intellectual property rights. When we say intellectual property rights, we mean the person who invented that particular drug has got a right to be the only one who can sell it for 20 years. But I'm standing here to thank Gilead because they were told by civil society and experts that the world does not have 20 years to wait. And they agreed that the world doesn't have 20 years to wait. While they've got a legal right and a legal power, they gave it up because Gilead gave 6 voluntary licenses to 6 companies to start manufacturing generics, which are going to be very cheap. They gave that voluntary license, and voluntary means voluntary. The only small problem for which I want to report to you again, President, is that 4 of the licenses were given to companies in India. 1 was given to a company in Pakistan. And the last one was given to a company in Egypt. We don't have any. Here in South Africa, we don't have any. No, wait. I'm giving you the history. We didn't have any. But we told Gilead that South Africa, as you know, is going to be the world's biggest consumer of Lenacapavir. Because in ARVs, we are already like that. 25% of all ARVs consumed in the world are consumed in South Africa. So with Lenacapavir, it's going to be the same. So we told Gilead, Mr. President, that we also deserve a license. And I'm here to report to you that we had a meeting of all the SANEC ministers in February this year. They've all endorsed that if a second license to manufacture Lenacapavir is given to another African country after Egypt, it must be given to South Africa. And SADC has endorsed that. And I can tell you, without any equivocation or fear of contradiction, Gilead has just informed us, if there's a South African company that can stand up and say, here we are, they will be given that voluntary license. I am reporting that to you, President, because I know one of your dreams is local manufacturing of Lenacapavir. And I'm here to inform you, Lenacapavir is going to be manufactured in South Africa. I don't know by which company, it's not my job to choose. There's a selection committee in which SANAC is also involved, in which South African National AIDS Council is involved, in which many organizations, all of these organizations that are here, World Health Organization, UNITAID, UNAIDS, all of them are involved. And they'll be choosing which country, which company in South Africa is going to produce Lenacapavir. So very soon, it will be introduced here at home. But before that, before we manufacture it here, the issue of generics is not as far as we think. It's not as far as we think because, Mr. President, there are many people who support us to bring an end to AIDS. When we were at the United Nations General Assembly last year, 2 things happened. One, there was a meeting convened by the Clinton Health Access Initiative, led by the former president of the US, Bill Clinton, where they called a company called Dr. Reddy's, together with VETS RHI, represented here by Professor Helen Rees, together with UNITAID, which spoke here. They agreed with Dr. Reddy's that Dr. Reddy's must produce a generic. They will help them financially, such that the price of that generic will be 700 times less than the price of the present Lenacapavir. That to me is delivery as far as I'm concerned. The second thing that happened at UNGA is that Gates Foundation also called a company called Hetero, which is based in India, and told them that they will do the same thing that Bill Clinton has done to Dr. Reddy's. They will do it to Hetero, so that Hetero can start manufacturing a generic. Now, this week, on Tuesday, I was in India. Our Consul General in Mumbai dragged me and invited me and said I must visit that company, which is in a town called Hyderabad. I went there, I saw. And they said, if SABRA gives us a license, if SABRA approves our plans, we can start manufacturing the generic this year. Not any other time, we can start this year. So yesterday, I phoned SABRA, and they said they've received all the documents. It will take them about 6 months to go through them. After 6 months, if they approve them, the generic. Well, Mr. President, that is science, it's not me. It's science. It's science. That's what they said. Mr. President, I've got the same feeling as you, but it's science. I know civil society lodged a complaint. Why, after Lenacapavir arrived here, we still have to do post-importation test, and they thought we should have skipped it. It's not us, Mr. President, it's a science. After it arrived here, we have to send it to... All these sciences means one thing, Mr. President. We want human beings to be safe. That's the bottom line. We want human beings to be safe. If we don't want, we can release everything and say we are ready. And then we'll be happy that we've been very fast, but we'll experience serious problems in side effects and all the things. You will remember the problems during COVID, Mr. President. I know when they said 6 months, they were just saying it may take us that long. It may take them shorter. So I promise that I'll sit on them every day. But very early next year, there must be a generic here in South Africa, which is 700 times cheaper than the present originator drugs. You can't get it better than that, Mr. President. So I'm allowing you, by the way, when I talk about SANAC, you know what I'm talking about because you were once the chairperson of SANAC. And Solin Dugu will have been your co-chair. So you know everything, and you know how civil society works. We know how you do things, so we're not going to teach them. Mr. President, former chairperson of SANAC, I'm asking you to stand up and address everybody. May we stand up and welcome him.
Thank you. Let's be seated, please. Program Director, Deputy Minister, Dr. Phahla, Minister of Health, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, Deputy Minister of Health as well, as I've already greeted you, the Premier of Mpumalanga. Some people who can't pronounce Mpumalanga often say Mapumalanga. But the Premier himself, when he is in full flight and really delivering a major speech, he doesn't say Mpumalanga, he says Mpumalanga. Executive Mayor of Gert Sibande, Councillor Waltam Gomezulu, Chief Executive of Gilead Sciences, Mr. Daniel O'Day, Executive Director of the Global Fund, Mr. Peter Sands, international development partners, UNAID, WHO, UNAIDS, Children Investment Funds, Foundation, partners from labor, civil society, and business who are here today, members of parliament. I saw some members of parliament, and everyone who is here, distinguished guests and fellow South Africans. Today is a day of hope. And having heard what Minister Motsoaledi said about the most outstanding and very impressive breakthrough that he has achieved by getting Gilead to agree to give South Africa the other license other than Egypt alone on the African continent from Mr. Daniel O'Day for purposes just of this function today. I would like to change his surname and say that, Mr. O'Day, today you have given us something which we can say, oh, what a day. Oh, what a day today is. So today we will call you Mr. What a Day. Because, as I've said, it is a day that reminds us how far we have traveled as a nation and how far humanity has come in confronting one of the greatest public health challenges of our time. Recently, we confronted COVID-19, and other countries are confronting Ebola, particularly in Central Africa, to which we as South Africa have committed some funds to help them fight the Ebola pandemic. We committed $5 million to the African Union CDC to embolden them and to help them get all the resources to fight Ebola. So today is a great day because we are today hopeful that the pandemic that we've been fighting, which is HIV/AIDS, gives us great hope. 26 years ago, Nelson Mandela, the founding father of our nation, stood before the world at the International AIDS Conference in Durban and challenged humanity to rise above fear, denial, and division. At the time when millions faced what seemed to be an inevitable death sentence, Madiba dared to imagine something different. The visionary that he was got him to raise our hope and to deal with the fear that we all had. Because many of us thought once you are declared HIV positive, it means that you are dead. He dared to imagine a generation free from HIV and AIDS. He reminded us that victory would require focus, it would require a strategy on our part, it would require innovation, it would require creativity, but it would also require solidarity amongst all of us in the world, as well as perseverance. Today, as we gather here in Secunda, in Mpumalanga, we honor that vision, and we want to thank the father of our nation, Nelson Mandela, for having given us hope. Today, we take another decisive step towards making it that vision that he announced a reality. The launch today of Lenacapavir marks a turning point in our nation's fight against HIV. To us, this incredible treatment is not just a medicine or a drug. To us, it represents a major turning point in South Africa's national story. It represents one of the most significant scientific breakthroughs since the advent of antiretroviral treatment. And as we all know, we are the one country in the world that has carried the heaviest burden of HIV/AIDS. And we are the one country in the world that has had to administer antiretroviral treatment to millions and millions of our people on a daily basis. And we are one country that has had to deploy billions of rands to keep our people alive. This represents the triumph of science over despair. It represents the power of innovation to save lives. Above all, it represents that hope that Madiba spoke about. Hope for young women who continue, sadly, to face a disproportionate burden of HIV infection to this day. Hope for families and communities that have lived through decades of loss, continued loss in their own families, as their relatives, as people that they were dependent on for livelihood just died. Hope for a generation that may one day know HIV not as a threat, but as a chapter in history, a chapter in our past that we went through. So, fellow South Africans, few countries have carried the burden of HIV as heavily as our country, as I was saying. We, as South Africa, have buried too many mothers and fathers, too many sons and daughters, too many teachers, workers, health professionals, and community leaders. There was a time when many of us feared that any member of our family would in the end fall prey to HIV and AIDS and die. The HIV epidemic has left scars on our society that can never be fully erased. Yet it is also true that few countries have responded with the courage, with the resilience, and the determination that South Africa has shown. We've heard this from a number of speakers this morning. Together we built the largest HIV treatment program in the world. Together we fought for affordable medicines. When companies were charging a lot of money for antiretroviral treatment, our government, but more particularly civil society has organized in various formations. And today that civil society we have to honor, as it is led by SANAC, which government also facilitated its founding. So together we challenge stigma and discrimination. Many people, as you might recall, who had HIV/AIDS were afraid to come forward, even for testing and for treatment, because there was stigma. They were shunned, they were looked down upon, and so they feared to come forward. we embarked on a rigorous program to push away the stigma and the discrimination. We embarked on a number of programs and campaigns where the central message was, these are our people. There should never be any form of discrimination or looking down on those people. In fact, we should be understanding, we should embrace them, we should support them in their struggle. To a large extent, we succeeded. Many people were able to come forward for testing. They were able to come forward to receive their medication, and many people came forward and declared their status. So progress has been made in our country as government, civil society, and everyone worked together. Now, together we demonstrated that when government, communities, scientists, activists, and the international partners work together, lives can be saved. So today we thank all those who joined in this fight. International organizations that are here today, and many others that are not here, and the various formations and ordinary South Africans. I'd like to officially say thank you, thank you, thank you for all that we have done together to fight. I like the sound of that vuvuzela. Now, of course, it reminds us the 2010 World Cup. And once again, we wish Bafana Bafana the very best when they take to the field next week to go and represent our country. Now, South Africa, this beloved country of ours, and all its people, has never been a passive observer in the global HIV response. We have been leaders in many, many ways. We have been innovators. We have been advocates for justice and equity. And we've even gone global and spoken on international forums. And leaders in government continued to speak about HIV/AIDS. When I was deputy president, I was the chairman, or chairperson as we call it, of SANAC. And I had to give an account now and again, even to Parliament. And the innovation that had come forward was in producing more usable condoms. And I took the condoms to Parliament. And I described these condoms and held them up in Parliament, which shocked members of Parliament because they are often quite noisy or, quite demure. So I took the condoms and I showed them in Parliament. And I say, I would like to encourage all of us, even as Parliament, members of Parliament, and all South Africans, to use these condoms. And I said, and they smell very nice. Now, that was a public space. I couldn't demonstrate it. So today we lead once again. Lenacapavir gives us an unprecedented opportunity to strengthen HIV prevention. A single injection administered twice a year can provide powerful protection against HIV infection. Minister Motsoaledi and Deputy Minister Phahla and officials, I'm sure, have already demonstrated that. This is not merely a medical advance. It is a practical intervention that can transform lives, that will save lives. It reduces the barriers to adherence, because sometimes when you have to be taking the pills every day, you sometimes forget. But this is now going to help. It expands choice, it strengthens dignity, and it empowers people to take control of their health and also control of their own future. Now, as we launch this program, 360 public health facilities across 6 provinces and 24 high-burden districts stand ready to provide this groundbreaking intervention. Our ambition is bold. We are very bold. Today, by the end of 2027, we aim to reach close to 1 million people. Over the next 3 years, we aim to reach 3 million people. This is the intention that we have. This is our ambition. This is not simply a health target. It is a nation-building target. Every HIV infection prevented is a life protected, is a life saved, a family preserved, a future secured. And ladies and gentlemen, fellow South Africans, scientific breakthrough only change lives when they are accessible to all. That is why we welcome the partnership between our government, the Global Fund, and the Children's Investment Fund Foundation. Together with government funding, this catalytic investment will contribute 1.3 billion rand towards the rollout of Lenacapavir. This partnership, and this is a lot of money, and it deserves our applause and appreciation. Now, this partnership reflects a principle that South Africa has consistently championed, that life-saving medicines must not be a privilege reserved for a few. Singaze sifike esigabeni sokuthi uma kuzofanele ukuthi to save lives, kuzoba nalabo abaziwayo abayi-few abafanele ukuthi bathole usizo. Thina as-South Africans sithi bonke abantu, wonke umuntu ufanele ukuthi avikele, athole leyo medicine afanele ukuthi ayithole. They must be available to all the people who need them. We therefore remain committed to expanding access through affordable generic medicines, through technology transfer and local manufacturing. To you, my sister, Anne Shongwe, you spoke about access. Yes, we are going to work very hard to ensure that access is broadened, leaving no one behind. That is the approach that we've always used when it comes to protecting lives and saving lives. Now, as Africa pursues the African Union goal of producing 60% of the continent's health products by 2040, South Africa will continue to support the development of a vibrant African pharmaceutical and biotechnology industry. Health security can no longer be separated from economic development. The capacity to develop, to manufacture, and to distribute medicines is essential to our sovereignty, our resilience, and our prosperity. So let us be clear. Lenacapavir is not a silver bullet. It is one more powerful tool in our arsenal. It complements HIV testing, oral PrEP, treatment as prevention, condoms, yes, even those condoms that are now being developed that are much, much better smelling with perfume and all that, even those. It also involves voluntary medical male circumcision and behavioral interventions. You might recall that male circumcision in one province in our country had been done away with long past in history. And when it was proven that male circumcision actually does reduce incident of infection, we were able to mobilize even our traditional leaders, the various leaders in KZN, to broaden and expand and encourage men to go for male circumcision. It has now broadened. It is being done in many, many other areas in our country. Success still depends on education. Success will still depend on responsibility. Yebo, ukuze i-HIV ingabi ingozi kithi, kufanele ukuthi thina ngokwethu singabantu siziphathe ngendlela efanele. Sihlale sazi ukuthi engulaze ikhona and fanele ukuthi siziphathe kakuhle sonke. Success will still depend on ending stigma and discrimination. And this one is an important one because it is inscribed in our constitution that discrimination cannot be allowed in South Africa. We fought against discrimination and racism, and we inscribed it in our constitution, and today we reiterate that none of us must ever discriminate against anyone who has HIV or AIDS, or even discriminate against anyone who has a different sexual orientation, or even discriminate against people who have some disability. Most importantly, success will also depend on all of us as we support each other, as we exercise solidarity, as we tolerate each other, as we have deep understanding and compassion towards each other. To our healthcare workers, we say continue to serve our people with dedication and compassion, so that when they go to health facilities, our nurses, our doctors, our health workers must all be as supportive as possible. To parents and families, we say continue to guide and support our young people. And we're also saying at the home place, we should not, as parents, be shy or be afraid to even talk about sex education. We must broaden it. People must understand what sex is all about. It should not be something that is hallowed, that is only spoken about in bedrooms. Yes, it must be done in bedrooms, but it must be spoken about all over. We don't want it to be done, in the dining room or in the classroom or wherever. No. To our traditional leaders and our religious leaders and community leaders, continue to be champions of awareness and prevention. Now, to young South Africans, know that your future is worth protecting. Take advantage of the prevention options that are available to all of us. And one says all this because recently we saw a rise. And Dr. Motsoaledi and Dr. Phahla and the Deputy President, who is now the chair of SANAC, they were reporting that they were seeing a rise, particularly amongst young women, of HIV infection. Now we are beaming these messages so that we become more and more aware of what we need to do, because Lenacapavir is not the silver bullet. Yes, it gives us hope, but there are various steps that we must continue taking. We must make informed choices. We must protect ourselves and one another. So today we enter a new chapter in the history of HIV response. A chapter defined by science, a chapter defined by partnership, and a chapter defined by dignity, choice, and more importantly, by hope. The hope that was inspired on us by the father of our nation. One day, future generations will look back on this very important day and period and say that this was the moment when humanity finally gained the upper hand against HIV. And that is why I say today must be called, oh, what a day. As today we have changed the name of Mr. O'Day, today only he will be called, oh, what a day, Mr. What a Day. This will be the moment when our HIV-free generation moved from aspiration to possibility. And that is what this moment is all about. When South Africa once again helped to lead the world towards a better future. As we move forward, let us remember Madiba's words. Let us remain focused. Let us remain strategic, and let us mobilize all our resources and alliances. And let us sustain the effort until this battle is won. Together we can protect a generation, and together we can end new HIV infections, and together we can end AIDS as a public health threat. Together we can build a healthier and stronger and more hopeful South Africa. Today we make history, and tomorrow we must make sure that we strengthen the future that we must all have. And I'd like to thank everyone who's here, to thank Minister Motsoaledi, Dr. Phahla, the Directors General in Health, and everyone else in SANAC, and also our international partners. You have given us something that today we are hopeful about, and you have given us something that we can say, oh, what a day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Can we take our seats just with the indulgence of the President? We've just asked, we're informed that something which our director maybe was also not aware, that the DG has also sent a taped message. Apparently, the DG of WHO, World Health Organization. We know that we welcomed Mr. Nas earlier on, but there is also a recorded message. Can I just check with our technical team? With the indulgence of the President, they said that we should go ahead and just quickly show that 3 minutes message. Can we get our technical team? I don't know if that screen
Your
is also
Excellency,
working. Or that
President
side. Oh, there's a
Ramaphosa,
screen that side. Okay.
honorable ministers, distinguished guests, partners, and colleagues. I congratulate the government and people of South Africa on the launch of the National Lenacapavir program. South Africa is among the first countries to move from policy to implementation, receiving early supply, updating its essential medicines list, and preparing health systems for rollout. It demonstrates what's possible when governments, communities, and partners work together with clear milestone in South Africa's long fight against HIV. You have come so far, and Lenacapavir will help you to go much further. This new prevention tool is one of the most exciting innovations in the history of HIV. It's not a vaccine, but it's the next best thing, a long-acting antiretroviral given twice a year. In trials, it prevented almost all cases of HIV in those at risk. WHO has made a priority of accelerating access to Lenacapavir. Just 1 month after regulatory approval, we updated our guidelines to include Lenacapavir as an additional prevention option. At the same time, several challenges must be addressed. Financing remains uncertain. Pricing must be transparent and fair. And implementation will require strong systems to ensure testing, delivery, and follow-up are accessible and effective. Lenacapavir should not replace existing tools. It should expand them, offering people more choice and enabling prevention programs to reach those who are not served by current options. Looking ahead, South Africa has the opportunity not only to scale up access, but to contribute to regional production and supply, strengthening health security across the continent. WHO remains committed to supporting this effort, from implementation in the first phase of expansion in the years ahead. Once again, my warmest congratulations to all of you. And Mr. President, thank you for your leadership. I wish you every success in the rollout of this program and in your journey to end HIV. I thank you.
We are going to call again Mr. President. You wanted to say something about the black cards.
Thank you. I'm rising to thank our colleagues who stood up here holding these placards. I want to thank them because they are continuing with the campaign that is clearly written in those placards. And I want to thank them for doing it in the most orderly way, in the most cooperative way, and with a spirit of looking forward and knowing that once issues are raised, they will be heeded, we will listen to what they are raising, and action will be taken. So I thank them because they've raised a number of messages. Every woman deserves HIV prevention choices. And strong women, strong families, strong communities, HIV prevention for all. Thank you so much for those messages. And I also thank them to being real activists, being organized under the Civil Society Forum. Thank you. And also thank them for working together with others under the umbrella of SANAC. SANAC being the organization, or the structure rather, that we all formed together with government, business, and civil society, where we combined our efforts to fight HIV/AIDS and came up with a lot of initiatives. And it brings together traditional leaders, it brings together men, it brings together young men, young girls, and trade unions, and various other organizations. We are always criticized, especially myself, for setting up committees, councils, and structures. Let me say yes, the various structures and commissions and committees that we set up bring together the best minds in South Africa. It brings together people who have a contribution to make. And when we bring them together, we strengthen our efforts as government, as a nation, to take action, real action on what needs to be done. So I say to those who continue to criticize, to dismiss, and to downplay the setting up of structures like this one and many others, take heart. These are clear initiatives that bring together the best minds in our country, that bring together the best activists that we have. So I extend my gratitude to the Civil Society Forum as part of SANAC. Thank you very much for bringing this about. Siyabonga. Siyabonga.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Siyabonga kakhulu. As civil society, we really appreciate you, Mr. President. Mr. President, this weekday, being sasho our premier guti, siyazi guti, I speak on a language of civil society. Angisho siphiluma zempilo, Mr. President. Ukuthi ngithi mphakathi asingakhohlwa la sibuya khona. And asingakhohlwa la siya khona. Sibuye ekudeni nge-HIV. Ungakhohlwa kuya ku-antenatal care. Uyathola okungcono, ngithanda le gama lokugcina, care, not ANC, ngiyabonga. Thank you very much. We are going to call, thank you very much as program directors, we thank you so much. Now we are going to call for the vote of thanks to our district executive mayor. And then there are announcements. All the media houses, Uguti, you go that side where the president is going to launch the launch of the Lenacapavir. All the media houses, we are being requested to move to that side to do the capturing of.
Thank you very much, program directors. His Excellency President Ramaphosa, the Minister of Health, Dr. Motsoaledi, the Premier of our province, Honorable Ndlovu, and allow me, program directors, to stand on the protocol established. On behalf of the people of Gersibande, we wish to express our appreciation to all who contributed to the success of this important national launch. Today, we not only witness the unveiling of this intervention, but we reaffirm a national commitment that has been forged through decades of struggle, scientific advancement, and social mobilization. We extend our sincere gratitude to His Excellency, President Ramaphosa, whose leadership continues to place the health and well-being of our people at the center of the national developmental agenda. Your presence here today, Mr. President, despite a hectic schedule, signifies the importance that our democratic state attaches to the fight against HIV and AIDS. We equally express our appreciation to the Minister of Health, Dr. Motsoaledi, whose unwavering commitment to strengthening the public health system continues to advance South Africa's response to one of the greatest challenges of our time. The Premier of our province, Honorable Ndlovu, your consistency in monitoring and coordinating the implementation of programs and strategies of the provincial multi-sectoral response to the epidemic is highly commended by our communities here in Khersibande and Mpumalanga and civil society in general. We wish to acknowledge the healthcare professionals, researchers, scientists, community health workers, civil society organizations and activists who over many years have worked tirelessly to ensure that South Africa remains at the forefront of innovation in HIV prevention and treatment. The introduction of Lenacapavir offers renewed hope, particularly to young people, women and vulnerable communities who continue to carry a disproportionate burden of HIV infections. We therefore leave this gathering with renewed responsibility. The success of Lenacapavir will not be measured by today's launch, but by our collective ability to ensure access, education, awareness and uptake among the people who need it most. To the people of Khersibande, and particularly here in Govenimbegi, local municipality, thank you very much for your warm hospitality and for hosting this important national occasion. To all who traveled from across the country to be with us today, we thank you for your participation and your commitment to advancing public health. Thank you very much, program directors.
Thank you very much, Executive Mayor. I think since if we get to the end of the program, the President will be accompanied by only those that were participating in the program, and will also like the MECs for health to join the President. This is where the launch, the cutting of the ribbon, Mr. President.
Okay.
Yeah, give us a chance to explain. Yes. This is the injection of Lenacapavir, which is taken every 6 months, as we said. There are 2 vials here. They are taken all at the same time. Immediately after we give you this, we give you this one. These are tablets. There are 4 of them inside here. You drink 2 of them immediately. And the other 2, you take them home, you drink them after 24 hours. Then that's over with the tablets. When you come back again, we only give you the injection after 6 months. I was once a teacher, let me start again. This is the injection. We give you now 2 vials. When we finish, we give you this. There are 4 tablets in here. You take 2 immediately. The other 2, you take them home. You take them after 24 hours. That is enough load for the tablet to give the injection time to act. And then from there, when you come back to the clinic, you only get the injection. And you do that every 6 months. Right? Any questions? Now we are going to the mobile. Yeah, somebody is going to be Jova there. He's going to be giving the injection. You will watch it. We may teach the president to give the injection today.
All the guests go back where they were in the morning. Only the guests go back where they were in the morning.